Christmas morning is always a flurry of activity, but in the afternoon, I enjoy one of my favorite yearly traditions, composing my seed orders. The most enjoyable trips to the mailbox come in November and December, because that's when seed catalogs arrive. As a commercial farmer who began with zero knowledge or experience, I purchased seeds from a lot of different companies over the years. Eventually, that list was whittled down to 3 major sources for the seeds I sow at Nights and Weekends Homestead. In order of importance to our farm, Johnny Selected Seeds, High Mowing Seeds, and the Seed Savers Exchange. Seed companies put a lot of effort and money into their catalogs, all of it aimed at selling as many seeds as possible, and these 3 companies are no different. Beautiful pictures, enticing descriptions, and useful information related to sowing, planting, growth habits, harvest, and storage fill the pages of these miracles of entertainment that remind us, in the dark, cold months of winter, that a warmer, brighter future is about to unfold just outside the door, if only we have but a little faith and a lot of hard work. I've become a faithful customer of these particular companies for a variety of reasons. All 3 are reliable. That's important when you're talking about growing plants to feed your family, particularly in my Zone 5 climate here in central Maine. Many of the crops we grow only get one shot. Onions, for instance, which are so important not only to us here at Nights and Weekends Homestead, but around the world. Did you know that onions are the 3rd most traded commodity on Earth behind oil and coffee? Onions need a full season to grow to maturity. Here in Maine, that season is a very narrow window. I plant onions the first week of March while there's still a few feet of snow on the ground. If I get bad seed that doesn't germinate, I won't know that for 7 to 10 days. And even if a company does the right thing and replaces the seed, that's still another 3 to 5 days before I get the replacement. In the case of onions, that's too late to replant and actually get a useful crop. That's a lot of pressure on germination rates. Additionally, in the case of Johnny's, which is where I get the majority of my seeds, it's a local company. Johnny Selected Seeds is repeatedly voted one of the best companies in our state in terms of success, usefulness, and places to work. It's not hard to see why. They're committed to supporting farmers and helping diversify farm income. They're committed to providing gainful employment year-round to as many of their employees as possible, which is really something when your business is essentially seasonal. And they've taken the Safe Seed Pledge. They're committed to supporting schools throughout the state by donating supplies, seeds, expertise, and in some cases, people power. Many of these attributes apply to High Mowing and Seed Savers Exchange as well, but Johnny's, for me, is local. In fact, as you'll see later in this video, I can, and do, visit their fulfillment center in person to get my seeds and supplies each year, meaning I save on shipping and get to speak to a real person face-to-face across a sales counter. The first step I take in terms of my seed orders every year is to make a wish list. As the name implies, it's totally unrealistic. Keep in mind though, this is a first step. When I started farming, I fell victim to what many gardeners experience and made the wish list my only step before calling the seed company and placing my order. I learned a lot over the years as a commercial farmer, and one of the most important lessons was you can't do everything you want to do. However, it's a good activity to go through the catalogs and make a list that includes anything you'd like to grow if money, space, and time were no object. This might take you a few days, and that's okay. Enjoy it. The catalogs are meant to entice you. You might as well let them. Make the list as all-encompassing as possible. However, when you move to the next step, it's important to be realistic in your expectations. This is one of the hardest things for beginning gardeners to do. Excitement and lack of experience can color your perspective. You'll likely get overwhelmed quickly, have wasted a lot of money, and, depending on how tenacious you are, may end up deciding, incorrectly, that growing your own food just isn't for you. In my case, I have a lot of information to help me whittle down the list of things I'm going to purchase. The first step is to go through my existing seed stock and assess how much seed I have, particularly of the items I've put on my wish list. I find it important to have everything I need laid out, including my garden notes from previous seasons, my catalogs, my seeds, pen or pencil and paper, and the wish list itself. I also like to block off some uninterrupted time to do this, usually choosing days that are stormy or bitterly cold, when it makes sense to do something that involves being productive, but also being near the wood stove. When comparing my wish list to my existing seed stock, I first go through the existing seeds without regard to the wish list at all. I go through the container, one package at a time, and decide, based on my intuition and previous garden seed notes, if I want to grow that variety and cultivar again. If I do, I put it on the list. If I don't, I take the seed packet out and make note that I've tried it, but I'm not interested. I also assess how much seed I have in each packet of anything that makes it onto the list. I also color code the list so, when it comes time to order seeds, I know if I have enough, need a lot, a little, or if the seed I have is getting to be on the older side, meaning it may not be as viable, and I need to hedge my bets, buying a little to act as a stopgap rather than a whole new stock, as though I didn't have anything. The next step is also the hardest, because this is where you need to be very realistic in terms of assessing your abilities, experience, time, and space. You need to compare your wish list to your existing stock, then take whatever remains and create a purchase list. One of the most difficult things to know as a beginning gardener is how much you should or can plant. If you don't have any experience, this is where some of the useful information that catalogs include comes in handy. Johnny's and High Mowing in particular are both designing their catalogs to help the home gardener and small to medium scale commercial grower. That means they have lots of information about seeds per pound or ounce, suggested seed spacing, thinning rates, and yield per pound. Use them as a guide. I've been to Johnny's research farms and toured them, speaking with the professional seed trialers and farm crews. These people dedicate their professional lives to figuring things out so that we don't have to. Use their information. It's good. But also remember, it's a ballpark figure. There are so many variables that it's hard to recommend a one-size-fits-all plan for gardeners around the world. Use the catalog estimates as just that, estimates. This is where the all-important garden notebook comes into play. Keep good notes. I've got a blog on the nightsandweekendshomestead.com website about the importance of this. Then, next year, when you're doing this again, you'll have site-specific information that helps you assess how much to purchase. Once you've done all that, it's time to do the orders. I've got a meeting today, quite a ways from where I live, so figure on the way, I'm going to stop at Johnny Seed's catalog store. I'll save on shipping since I'm driving pretty much right past and I'm on my way there now.
The white satin, the organic one, they have one back order February 13th, so I can mail it to you at no charge if you'd rather have that one.
Yeah, okay. I would prefer the organic one.
Okay.
Let's see, 93 packet.
Robust.
Yep. And also, I was looking online and it looked like I wanted to try the Nana, which is 3575, but it said it's out of stock. Just want to double check that that's accurate.
And that's a packet that you'd wanted that one if it is?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't have a date of when that's coming in.
Okay. Let's see, 2761 packet.
Montauk?
Yep. Alright guys, so I'm in the catalog store and I just placed my order. And it's pretty substantial, so it takes a little bit for it to fill, so I'm just going to look around. Pretty awesome place in here. over in the corner in the store, they have a bunch of discounted items for whatever reason. It might be damaged, it might be returned and perfectly fine. But it's a great way to just get a pretty good discount on some stuff, some soil blockers, which I already have, heat mats. It's always fun to just come check this section out. These are. Alright, so I've exhausted all the cool stuff to look at, and I've unfortunately picked up a couple more items to purchase, which is bound to happen when you come here. But that's the fulfillment center out there. I've never been back there. I think you can get tours, but I'm always coming through and very busy, so never done it, but I would like to at some point. It looks pretty intense back there.